I'm Madeleine Harvey, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Full disclosure, just going to be really honest and show up as authentically as I can. So I wanted to make a video today talking about some skills, particularly, that if you choose to endeavor on any creative path, whether it be singing, acting, directing, photography, entrepreneurship, business, you will need these four skills. They have nothing to do with singing, but you'll need them and you need to work at them nonetheless. So if you like today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up or click the subscribe button below. I would love to see you here more often. Okie dokie. So let's just pretend, shall we? Let's pretend that you have a project and you want to create the project and then share the project with the world, because that's what we do. That's what creativity is. Well, I'm in full support of that. So somewhere along the line of your project, you will notice all four of these things that you have to develop that are going to be so essential to the creation of your project. And it's a good thing to notice them and to engage with them and to really leverage them. Because like I said before, you will need them. You'll need them. These four topics are ways that you can stay connected to your own creativity as a means of self-experience, self-fulfillment, self-satisfaction, which ultimately leads you to confidence. Now, confidence is really big and it's really intense word. So we're going to soften it just a little bit and just say, yeah, you'll not care. You'll share your creativity with the world and you'll just be a little invincible. You'll be a little untouchable because you just had so much fun in the making of your project to begin with. So let's get right at it, shall we? Number one is where it all begins. Everything else hinges on your ability to focus. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of focus where you'll need to sit down and practice your scales and your actual craft. I'm talking about a different kind of focus. And again, I'm going to use your project, your hypothetical you and your project as the template here. So let's say you're sitting down and you're going to work on your project, and let's say you need to have this project at least presentable because you have people expecting a presentation on your project or a time or a goal that you wanted to share this project with. So you're sitting down and you're going to engage with your project. Well, this is what usually happens. Introjects of a thought will say, that sucks. You're not ready. You should put this away and go about your day. Or you have no future at this. Or ... fill blank, fill the blank, fill the blank. Lots of those things. And that's exactly what it is, an introject. A thought pushing itself into your focus for nothing more than this right here. It's just a distraction. It's just a distraction. Now, this is why this focus is a skill that needs to be engaged and harnessed and developed. There's this thing in just psychology that is called differentiation. That's the ability to understand what you're looking at. Well, this is different from that. I can see that they're different things. And the wisdom that comes from focus is going, is this thing that's pushing itself into my consciousness, is that useful? Or is it just trying to cut me off? Is it just trying to cut me off from being who I know, or I'm at least curious to know that I can become? If it's just trying to cut you off, literally push it aside, or shake it off, or just make a sound or something to change your state, and then get back to it. Just get back to it. Now, it's an arm wrestle. It's an arm wrestle with yourself in the very beginning, because there's all of that just flooding your mind saying, you're not this enough, you're not that enough, this project is stupid, everybody's gonna think it's stupid, whatever, just fill it in. There's lots to choose from. But it's up to you, right there, in that moment, to go, oh, I see this game you're playing, mind, and I disengage. I'm going to disengage. and I'm going to get back to my focus. That's when it becomes a massive, massive skill. But you've got to be sense of self enough to recognize that it's happening. Ask yourself, is it useful? If it isn't, then disengage and continue on. Okay? Crucial, crucial. That's where everything begins. Number 2, curiosity. Now this is my favorite thing. And I think curiosity and creativity are kind of the same thing. Now when we're talking about like a different word, passion. See how big that is. Oh, passion. Well, not a lot of us are like that. Like, I'm a really excitable person, but I don't walk around with my hair on fire. I don't feel like I must do this or I will fade away into the ether if I don't do this. I'm curious. I'm like, ooh, I wonder if I can explore that thought, if I can pull that string and see where that takes me. Or I wonder, what does this button do? Is like, oh, she says every time husband has to get involved and fix something. What does that button do? Yeah, I'm very curious as a person. I like to see where things go. I like to see what's underneath things. I love to explore. So we can look at curiosity and say, it's also like play. Joyful experimentation. You're just going to play with things. So let's go back to you and your project, and let's say you're singing. Well, let's say you're singing a song and the original singer did it just this way, just this way. Well, what would it be like if you did it this way? What if you changed it that way? Or what if you went down instead of going up? What if you went soft instead of going loud? You see what I'm saying? What if you changed the key? What if you changed the situation altogether? If you're a writer, specifically, like if you're a writer, what if you looked at it from a different point of view? This is so much of what creativity is. It's being able to see possibilities where others didn't. Now, this is not about other people. This is about you connecting to your sense of self-fulfillment, self-satisfaction. Curiosity makes everything fun. But you've got to be willing to keep it gentle. Keep it very gentle. I'm just following a curiosity. It takes on a totally different tuning. It's like you tune into the universe and it's playing with you. It feels fun. It is so worth it for the curiosity alone. Yeah, so curiosity. You have to sit down and you have to be mild and gentle and playful. It will tune you into number 3, which is humor. Now, this one's kind of weird for a lot of people because some people were like, well, I'm not that type of person. I'm just not the type of person. I take myself far too seriously. Well, if that's the case, then this is going to be painful for you. Then just sharing yourself with the world will be painful for you. It will be death by 1,000 cuts. You got to be able to laugh at yourself. You got to be able to not take the cut, not feel the cut. And humor is a way of keeping it light, You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Or let's say you're doing your project and you're in the recording studio. Let's say you go for that big moment and your voice completely goes somewhere else. Then just laugh at yourself. What are you going to do? Punish yourself? Then the project is not fun anymore. It feels like a punishing. It feels like a death by 1,000 cuts. I really like that. And we don't want that. That's not real self-fulfillment. We want to keep it light. We want to keep it playful. We want to keep it fun. We've got to be able to laugh at ourselves. The basis of creativity, there's this wonderful story I'll tell you really quickly, is your creativity is going to show you who you are. Oh, and it's so delicious. It's so delicious. It's so fun because who you think you are might not be who you really are. But who knows? Nobody really knows who they are until they play, until they dig, until they dive deep into those places, until they can say, I see you. Oh, yeah. It's very different. But humor keeps it fun. Humor, the ability to laugh and actually soak up and savor the flavor of the experience itself instead of what that project is going to get you, where that project is going to take you. As artists, and this is true for performance art, we don't go to concerts to see regurgitations. We don't go to just go, oh, yes, 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 I can tell that that performer has done the same performance like 1,000 times and has done it in the exact same way. And it's really perfect technically, but it makes me feel dead on the inside. No, we don't want that. We want to go and experience the moment. We want to be surprised by the moment. We want to be engaged. We want to play with the artist as they discover the moment. It takes a profound amount of trust, but also flexibility with yourself, because again, we all take ourselves a little too seriously. And I don't think we should, but I can't just go, don't be that way. This is why it's a skill that you've got to feel it out. You've got to feel it out. I remember one time I was recording a song that I wrote, and I was so serious about it. And the producer literally said to me, God, your singing is like killing the vibe, because it was just so obvious. I was just trying so hard to get it right. I was trying to wrestle the song to the ground. And I just laughed. That was my response. I just laughed because he was right. He was right. Nobody's having fun here at this point. So I decided to just sort of have a sense of curiosity, walk back up to the mic and try it again, but to let the experience matter more to me than the result. And the result ended up being so much more fun and so much better than what it was when it just had a sense of desperation about it. I just needed to get it right. Be playful, and also take nothing personally. Hard. Very, very hard. Right there. That one. Very hard. We just live in a culture that just has something to say. That's just what the culture is. But you get to be the one that decides, again, differentiation. Is this actually have value for me? Or is it just going to stop me? Is it just going to make me afraid to try again or afraid to experiment? And if it's the fear one, disregard it. But if you can actually see value in the feedback, then use it, then take it. It's a strength. There's an interior strength that comes along with this. And this is at the basis of what confidence really is. It's not being perfect. No one is. No one is. We're all evolving, and no one really knows what they're doing. Yeah. But we're all having fun, just experimenting with it. But it's being able to feel that you have a seat at the table, that you have a voice, and you have a desire to use it, and you have things that you're interested in exploring within yourself, and you're also interested in sharing that. And let that be enough. And if you can learn something from it, then it's Christmas Day every day. But if you're not learning anything from it and people are just being hurtful, look away. Look away. Go into yourself and go, well, what do you think? What do you think? Because if you can source to yourself for what you need, that's confidence. You're never going to get it out looking away from yourself. You're always going to get it here, here, here. In lessons, my favorite question, if you're one of my students, then you know this. My favorite question in lessons is, how did that feel? But I'm legit wondering about it. How was that? Was that fun? How about that? Was that fun for you? That's what I'm interested in. I want to know, what was that like for you? But I want you to be the source of going, that was good. Because it felt good, not because I say it sounds good. When people ask me, well, what do you think? I go, no. I will tell you what it was like for me, but I care more about what you say for you. And that's what we're working. We're working that inner sense of self-worth enough to laugh, to not take things personally, to understand that we're growing, and it is fun. It's supposed to be fun. So that is humor, number 3. Last one. Number 4, show up. Now, just like focus, where everything begins, this is where everything takes off. Show up. Show up for yourself. I don't mean for hours and hours and devote yourself to a strictly regimented routine of that, whatever that is. I mean, show up. Make a promise to yourself and keep it. Little promise. Little promise to yourself and keep it. I have this director who's a great friend of mine, and he would always say, and he still is saying, the fastest route to success and self-love is to make a series of promises to yourself and then to keep them no matter what. And the promise could be as simple as, I'm gonna practice for like 15 minutes before I start my day. Or I'm not gonna watch that episode of Jessica Jones. I'm gonna come in here and I'm going to make some sounds. I'm gonna be very curious. I'm gonna show up for myself. Or, this is sort of what I'm going through right now, I'm going to finish that song and I'm going to step into production with it. And I'm going to engage, and I'm going to show up for that. I'm going to promise myself to do that, even if it's not done, or like ready in my mind. I'm going to show up with a sense of curiosity. I'm going to show up with a sense of wonder and go, well, here's where I have taken this, and just work with my producers, work with the amazing musicians that are my friends who are here to collaborate with me. Or work with them, let them contribute and go, oh, yeah, because I can only take it so far. I know myself enough to go, I'm so over myself. I can only take it so far. Let's see what we can do together. Let's see what we can create together with that. But I have to show up. I've got to be, I've got to have enough gumption about it to go, here it is. Let's do this. And it doesn't have to be these big, giant things. It could be small, could be little things. It doesn't have to be really, really, really big things. So focus, number 1. Just be able to feel the difference between, is this useful or is this just trying to distract me or stop me? If it is, push it aside and get back to your work. Number 2, curiosity. Play. Curiosity is so much more fun than passion. Now, if you're passionate, that's good too. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going, I don't know, then just start with curiosity and see where it takes you. Number 3, humor. Be able to laugh at yourself. Be able to laugh at choices you make. Not everything's going to be great, but that silly choice led you to that other choice, and that's where curiosity comes into. But take nothing personally. Number 4, show up. Show up for yourself in little bite-sized pieces. All 4 of these skills will lead you to becoming invincible, but in ways that really matter, where you are self-sustained in your process, where that matters more to you than just the result that you're going for. It really is the journey. But once you get a whiff of that, you're like, oh, it's so much fun. The journey is so much fun. And you want to do it again and again and again. And I want that for you. I want nothing more for you to just be so inspired and to be so playful about sharing that with the world. Because I do think that the world needs that, but that's another conversation for a later time. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, please be sure to give it a thumbs up or click that subscribe button below. I would love to see you here more often. Thank you again for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time. Bye!